You know, I didn't think that powerlifting was gay, but I was ashamed of powerlifting because nobody else did it. And so like my mom, so embarrassing. R.I.P. my mom. She would call the school and she'd be like, my son broke a New York State record in the bench press. And then they would announce it. Like before they do the, before you, whatever that, pledge allegiance to the flag or whatever the fuck.
What is it called?
Yeah. The American bandstand. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know. Pledge allegiance, right? I pledge allegiance to the flag. Whatever.
Not the Declaration of Independence.
That was close. That was close enough.
Same country.
Every morning you read the Declaration. You know, before that, they would announce that I like broke this record. I would just like sink in my chair. I'm like, nobody knows what powerlifting is. Yeah, and no one knew back then. No one had any idea what the
fuck it was. You ever not say the pledge? Were you ever that guy? Like, not my country. You ever do that?
Yeah, like, mumble it and stuff. And
yeah, I was very anti-authoritative. Any way that I could kind of like get around authority, that was the shit.
Did you get in trouble?
I don't think so. I don't even really give a shit.
Do you take steroids?
No. Great question.
What the fuck? Why not, bro?
I'll take steroids when I'm like, you know, old. I would say I would do everything that I could. My suggestion with steroids, which again is out of my depth of place to really have a strong opinion on, although maybe I guess I have,
I love guys like you that pretend to know nothing about it. It's awesome.
No, it's not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying my suggestion to other people, like providing some type of advice. Like I'm kind of like, but if there was a gun held to my head, I had to have advice for that. I would say exhaust all of the natural low-hanging fruit that you have access to. Like make sure like stress is good. Make sure like check into diet. Make sure you're getting enough sunlight. Make sure like all the things.
You might not need it.
You might not need it. Yeah, and right. but the only qualm that I would really have is when a person's like, you know, eating like an asshole and just living like a turd, and now they're injecting themselves with exogenous hormones because they feel like they're, you know, they got their levels checked with whoever, and it's becoming like a trend. You know, and
it's a big problem. Like a lot of young people are taking them way too early, and they're not to be trifled with. This is not something that you just, you know. I would say that you. Like if you did a cycle or two or something like that, it's probably not a huge deal.
Probably not.
It's probably not a huge deal. I know a lot of people that have, and they don't have any. And I don't think that steroids are. I don't think that steroids are super dangerous. I think that they can be super dangerous because they can be addictive. And I think the other thing you need to pay attention to is that whenever you decide to do them, you are only getting the benefits from them while you're doing them. When that discontinues, you don't have hardly any of that left. And on top of that, what people probably don't understand is that you will be a worse version of yourself after you utilize steroids and try to come off of them.
Yeah, that's tough.
You might be able to get yourself back, and you might be able to get yourself back to another level, but it will take a really long time, and it would take a really big toll on the mental side of things.
Is that because a lot of the gains that you're getting, is it like, I don't know, I need Mike Israel here. Is it like sarcoplasmic hypertrophy compared to myofibrillar or something? Or is it some water thing? Like how would this structure of this big jacked muscle shift so quickly?
Fuck, man. You know what? I don't even know if we truly know what steroids do at the moment. I think there's still so much more to investigate. Somebody's like, you know, everyone's always talking about their testosterone levels, but testosterone levels are just a small kind of fragment of the entire piece of the puzzle. And the cool thing about today's times is that you don't really need steroids. Like you can do a lot of performance enhancement.
Peptides.
Without steroids, and you can have peptides. You may even go down the rabbit hole of like a little bit of growth hormone. Like there's a lot of other things that you can kind of dabble with that, you know, I never want to tell people like that shit's safe. We don't really know on what some of these things do. We think that peptides are like completely harmless, but the verdict is still out. These things are still fairly new, but the thing to really consider with steroids, and the reason why you should be very considerate and really think about it and research it a bunch yourself, is that you might end up being on them for life. Mm-hmm. You might end up being on them, maybe not necessarily for life, but it might be something that you're going to have a hard time dismissing from your life because of the strength that it gives you, because of the muscularity that it might give you. For myself, in my powerlifting career, I took large, what I would say large dosages of performance enhancing drugs, anabolic steroids, everything from testosterone to DECA to Tren. People have heard a lot of stuff about Tren, Anavar, Anadrol, Dianabol, all these things, Equipoise. For me, there was no reason not to try to be as strong as possible. Mm-hmm. And anything shy of anything that would prevent me or hold me back from being stronger, to me was just like an excuse. So, like when I was 25 is when I went on, and that was originally at the time I was doing professional wrestling. I wrestled in a league in Southern California with John Cena. My brothers and I, my oldest brother Mike, actually used to coach John Cena, and me and my brother Chris talked John Cena into going to wrestling practice, and John was like a bodybuilder. But that's cool. That's what I was doing a long time ago. Is I was doing professional wrestling, and to try to keep up with a lot of the guys that I was around, a lot of the guys that I saw. I'm 6 foot if I'm lucky, as my wife points out in the movie Bigger, Stronger, Faster.
6'2" in heels.
6'2". Yeah. How do you know?
Not bad. Respect.
And so I was just trying to basically, I guess you'd say, like, keep up. And maybe comparison is, maybe not the best place to start your steroid journey in. But that's kind of where mine began. And then as I shifted away from wrestling and went and trained at Westside Barbell and all that, it's just a huge part of the culture, a huge part of the culture of powerlifting. People may not understand or recognize that in powerlifting and in bodybuilding, they're not even drug tested. They don't care. Yeah, they don't care that you take those things. No one really talks about it a ton. Maybe competitor maybe.
It almost makes it mandatory at that point then, in a way.
It is.
If you want to win.
It's a mandatory requirement, especially for something like the Mr. Olympia competition, And so for me it was like it wasn't like a decision I was worried about. I was excited about it. Yeah. I was like, this is going to be great. I get to add another thing to my training that's going to help. Yeah. Just like when I would put a band on the side of the bar, or when I would learn a new squat technique, or I'd learn a new bench press. It wasn't any different than any of that to me. Learning how to wrap my wrist a little differently, or learning how to do something at a slightly different angle so I could lift a little bit more weight. These are things I obsessed over. And now I have a tool, a supplement that I can take that is going to make the training a little easier. And it's going to exponentially increase everything that I'm doing and everything I'm working for. It sounds fucking awesome.
Is there a camp of people that would be like, you're an idiot to not take steroids? Not if you're a professional athlete, but just like if you're like an accountant and you just whatever. It's like, bro, there's such a thing as steroids. Like, is there a camp of people? It's like why would a person not? Or are the potential health repercussions and ramifications generally, broadly speaking, like something to really look at?
I think all drugs kind of fall into a category if they can take you to a place you otherwise couldn't get to. Mm-hmm. Whether it's alcohol or weed or mushrooms or LSD or whatever it is, steroids would fall into that category as well. Mm. They're going to take you somewhere that you otherwise couldn't quite get to. And so I think a statement like that, to say like you're an idiot to not take them, it's a little overboard, just due to the fact that I think that with any drug, you should be sensitive to it could get into the wrong hands. It can end up with the wrong person. Yeah. And if it's not with the right person, it can have really catastrophic effects. Somebody that maybe has anger issues and someone who's like 18, 19 years old, like fucking A, man, like please don't, you're not going to listen to me anyway. You already made your decision, but steroids, you know, it would just be a bad idea. I mean, wait till you're more developed, you know, wait till your brain's more developed. Wait until you figure out some of your anger issues and stuff and you have actual solutions to them. The steroids might actually make you feel better in some ways. And
sounds like it's almost like getting a tattoo.
Yeah.
It's like maybe wait till you're like in your 30s, you know, to even like reflect on the question, you know, because it's going to be, like you said, like perhaps something that is going to be like a marriage in a way. So, I mean, like this might actually be a lifetime commitment. And looking at it from that lens might be it could be maybe like there could be some wisdom in that type of perspective.
For me, you know, I was on, you know, large dosages for years and years. And then nowadays, you know, people believe whatever they want, but I am on like legitimate, like a TRT dosage. I did just get,
what is that dosage?
Just get some blood work back. And I don't know what my testosterone looks like in the latest blood work that I got, but a lot of times my testosterone is like 800, 900, sometimes 1,000, sometimes 1,200.
Yeah, it's
somewhere in those neighborhoods.
That's where mine kind of flows.
Yeah, so it's like
to 1,100.
I'm not by any means claiming to be natty, but my testosterone levels and my free testosterone levels usually show that I'm in a normal-ish range. Every once in a while, it might be in like the high normal range, which is what I think you want to. I think it's the whole point of TRT is to get into like a high normal range. I don't think the point of TRT, in my opinion, is just to get yourself to like the low end of normal. I think you want to be a little bit more on the high end of normal because I do think that there's actual some health benefits, some confidence boosting. Testosterone is awesome in a lot of ways, and it makes a lot of the efforts that you put in feel even better. When you go to do like a set of something, you're doing like pull-ups or something, and you do a set of like 5, and I don't know, maybe you're already getting fatigued at 5 or something like that. And when you're on testosterone, your body is like, fuck yeah, like go for it, dude. Like this is awesome. Like this is what you
have that competitive edge.
Yeah, this is kind of what you're here for. It's almost as if you just saw your friend do a couple extra reps in front of you. That's kind of what it feels like. Or someone even just started to encourage you while you're going, you know, if you're ever to like hit a heavy bag and then someone's like, yo, come on, Aaron, you know, fucking smash up. You're going to pick it up a little bit. Your hands are going to be close to your face. You're going to throw a punch a little harder because now, you know, somebody's watching, somebody's encouraging. That's kind of what testosterone feels like. And I do think that, especially here in the United States, I do think that people need to consider it more as a therapeutic drug for people that have depression, for people that just don't feel good about themselves. I think that you would want to take it and you would want to like lift and exercise as well.
Yeah.
But I remember years ago, somebody wrote on my YouTube channel, which I don't check comments anymore. This is like a decade ago. Somebody said, hey, you know, kind of like, it's easier for you to be motivated because you're on steroids. And my first reaction was like to be kind of mad. And I was like, you're right. I was like, holy shit, like they're right. So I wrote back to the guy and I said, hey, that's actually really great that you
they're insightful.
Yeah, that's really great that you pointed that out. I'm going to share that with people that it can be a great motivator. And then I just wrote, I said,
the guy's like, fuck.
Yeah, well, I wrote, and I also
got me.
I said something like to each their own. You know, I said maybe one day, and I was kidding, but I was like maybe one day you'll be smart enough to take steroids.
Yeah,
just like me.